Welcome to the Island Treasures mini podcast for caregivers. I'm your host and certified caregiving consultant, Allison Van Schie Alongside Caregiver Consulting. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Cabin Teely Contractors in the Comox Valley on beautiful Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada, where we care too. In this episode, Ben Graham introduces two special people, Joe and Bella. While moving his grandparents into assisted living one Christmas Eve, the family was on tour of their new home. And this is where we meet, and they met, Joe and Bella.
Along this time on the tour, two other residents joined. They kind of were following from behind, kind of watching what we were doing. And soon they completely took over, pointing everything out. These were residents, former Holocaust survivors. Who found each other later in life, Joe and Bella. They eventually took my grandparents pretty soon under their wings. Nice. They ate every meal together. Pretty amazing people. My grandmother was not the easiest person to make a friend with. And they did it. They figured out how to charm her, built an amazing connection. And they eventually became our adopted grandparents.
That's just a brief introduction. But as you heard, they became very important to the family, so much so that they were honored by using their names for the clothing brand that the family founded. So what caused Ben and his family to start a clothing company? Well, during the COVID pandemic, the family used a GrandPad to keep in touch with Grandma. It's kind of like an iPad. And through this video technology, they witnessed how difficult and painful it was for his grandma to get dressed in what should have been an easy to put on, loose-fitting cardigan. So the family started looking for alternatives to make dressing easier and less painful for Grandma. And they found adaptive clothing and placed an order to be sent to Grandma.
And when we found out the package arrived, we of course dropped back in on the camera and she wasn't wearing any of the clothes. I was like, Grandma, what's up? Why aren't you wearing these? And she just said, too ugly. And we're like, oh, they are. We were hoping she didn't notice. They were ugly. We're like, we thought we got her the best looking stuff we can find, which I think we really did, but it looked ugly. Some of it looked pretty cheap. And she preferred the pain, the time suck of getting dressed, the indignity, than wearing stuff that made her look ugly. It was more like, all right, well, what do we do now? Like we looked, there wasn't anything else out there. And we're all kind of shocked it led us to starting a company, but it did.
And so the research began and the company was born. In this next clip, you hear all about the products. And for those watching the video, you can see the items that Ben describes. If you're listening on the audio version of the podcast, be sure to go to joeandbella.com to see the products.
We started developing our own products. We went out and found a fantastic design team who actually created the initial products over at Lululemon.
Oh, wow.
They also created products for the brand Figs, which is hospital scrubs. There are the hospital scrubs all the cool nurses wear, as they say. And so our first product is called Care Zips. So it's an adaptive pair of pants. It's got 3 zippers on it. 2 on the sides that go from the hip to the knee. And then it has a 3rd zipper that's on the inside of the knee and travels up through the groin to the inside of the other knee. And so we actually got a patent on that 3rd zipper. So it's the only pair of pants out there that has this 3 zipper system. We love the 3rd zipper on these pants for folks who particularly use incontinence products, catheter, ostomy bag, other medical devices. It gives a care partner quick, easy access to that area. You can, if you need a quick change, needs a quick adjustment, you're able to get in there without taking the pants off. Using all 3 zippers at once, you're able to fully open up the pants,
right,
and use toilet, change incontinence products, essentially slip in and out of them while lying down, in a seated position, in a standing position. So it's a great solution for those, particularly in a wheelchair, those who need help toileting. They come in 3 nice colors, stretchy 4-way fabric, And our second product, it's called the Everyday Freedom Pants. It's a little more versatile than CareZips. It only has 2 zippers. And unlike CareZips, the zippers are a little more discreet. So they're meant for folks who might have a slightly more active lifestyle. They're going to be great in a larger variety of situations. They help someone who might be an independent dresser and just would like a tool that makes dressing a little easier. And they've got some nice other features on them that CareZips don't. The waistband is kind of big and smooth, and really from photographs on our site, if you check them out, just looks like a pair of pants at Lululemon. But they've got great 4-way stretch. They have pleats and front pockets. They have a faux fly. So they're going to be great for really any situation. You can wear them out in public. They don't look like sweatpants.
I wanted to include more video from our interview, but recognizing how precious your time is, especially as caregivers, I want to keep this podcast as short as possible, just for you. And when you have more time to listen to the full episode, called Introducing Joe and Bella, feel free to subscribe, leave a rating, and a review. If you find yourself in the midst of your own caregiving journey and need some supports, I invite you to tap into alongsidecaregiverconsulting.ca. Thanks for listening to this mini version or watching the video version of the podcast. And thank you to Ben Graham for introducing us to Joe and Bella, the people and the clothing line, and for making dressing easier as well as more fashionable through your adaptive clothing. Take care.